I saw something I wasn't meant to, and in that moment everything changed. I sat frozen by the doorway, my heart pounding so loud I thought he might hear. The soft glow of his laptop screen spilled into the dark room, illuminating the crease in his brow. She closed the laptop, but not before I saw. It had been a typical Thursday evening. I dropped by unannounced because he said he needed company. We were friends, more than many friendships, but less than labels. There was an easy warmth between us, shared jokes, lingering glances, the gentle pressure of his hand on my back as I passed. I believed in transparency, in loyalty, in unspoken boundaries that we both pretended existed. The room smelled faintly of sandalwood and freshly laundered sheets. His desk lamp cast soft shadows over his face, making his cheekbones sharp, his eyes vulnerable. I noticed the way the light played across his skin I thought belonged to me in some emotional sense, though I would never say that outright. I had arrived at his apartment carrying a bottle of wine and a hope that tonight he would touch me differently. Not overtly, just that his hand lingered, his laughter sounded deeper, his eyes held more. He was in the middle of something on the laptop when I stepped inside. The screen tilted just enough that I glimpsed a photograph. My breath caught. The picture, blurred but unmistakable, her. Another woman. She was close to him, her shoulder touching his, a smile half-hidden, suspended in a moment of intimacy. The kind of smile meant only for one person. And suddenly the air felt too thin, the room too hot. I wanted to understand, to know whether it was old or new. Was it a betrayal, or just a memory? My mind whirled. I wanted to grab the laptop, close it myself, ask him what this meant. Instead I sank into a chair, pretending to be casual, pretending to wait, but actually terrified. Every fiber of me screamed to speak, to accuse, or maybe to confess my own longing. My lips parted, but no words came. She closed the laptop. The screen went black. His face turned toward me, but I could not read in his eyes whether panic, guilt, or shame. And in that pregnant silence, something happened. The line between what I knew, what I felt, and what I feared blurred. He asked, quietly, "Did you see something?" I swallowed, my heart lodged in my throat. I nodded, though my throat felt dry, my voice gone. That was when I realized I had a choice. Confront, run, or stay and watch what would unravel. I stayed. When he asked me to sit down, his voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly as he slid the laptop across his desk and closed the lid with the softest click. The lock snapped into place. My eyes flicked to his fingers, long, gentle, now slightly curled. I thought I saw regret there, or shame, or something worse, something that whispers betrayal. He said the photograph was old. She had been someone from a trip years ago, someone he thought he'd forgotten about. His voice held soft defensiveness, the kind that says, "I didn't mean to hurt you," without quite admitting it. My chest tightened. I asked whether he still felt anything for her. There was a pause, a quiet that pressed heavily in my ears. "Yes," he said finally, not loud, but he didn't deny it. Something in me shifted. I had believed loyalty, had believed we were building something untarnished. But here, in the half-light, I realized desire doesn't always align with loyalty. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from my face. His touch was electric, warm, yet weighed down by guilt. My breath wasn't mine for a moment. I needed to know more. If she was inside his heart, even a little, what did that make me? Second, companion? Someone filling a space he once thought belonged to someone else. I wanted him to reach across that space to me, to prove I was more than the echo of what came before. And yet, I also felt a stirring, something forbidden. When his fingers lingered on my skin, when his breath brushed mine in confession, I felt my own secret bloom, a desire not just to be forgiven, but to be wanted, to be chosen. I wanted him to believe in me, to taste the tension between someone he had loved and someone he could love now. He leaned closer, the tip of his nose almost touching mine, and his eyes flicked toward mine, full of questions, longing, shame. "Do you want me to close that chapter for good?" he whispered. My heart smashed against my ribs. Because I did. I wanted it more than silence. But saying it felt like betrayal of something real, something honest, too. And in his next move, I saw it. His phone lighting up, a message preview showing her name. The message notification shone on the dark screen. Her name. I could almost hear my own pulse in the hush of his living room. Heat flooded me. Not just anger, jealousy, but something darker, fascination. I leaned forward, as if by wishing I could rewrite what had just happened. See the message, read it. No. He hesitated, thumb hovering. Then he turned the phone face down. Did he want me to ask? Did he want me to pry? My reasoning mind told me to walk away. But my body, every nerve ending, wanted to stay. He didn't speak for a long moment. The silence was a fabric threaded with tension. I traced the outline of the blinds where light slipped between slats. Shadows danced across his face, one half in darkness, one half in lamplight. I thought of how much easier it would be if I couldn't pay attention. If I couldn't feel this ache rising in my throat, this knot of yearning and fear. I moved without meaning. My foot brushed his under the desk. It was accidental, but he felt it. His breath hitched, a small gasp, or maybe just a tightening in his chest. His eyes darted to mine, trying to read accusation, reassurance, or something unspeakable. I didn't retreat. I let the contact linger, let warmth spread up my leg, knowing the risk. His voice came then, low. I didn't expect you to stay. Regret flavored every word. I saw him battling between honesty and hiding, between wanting to erase the past and wanting to hold on to it. Even just a photo, just a memory. I said nothing. My voice had been stolen. I simply moved my hand, ever so gently, across his arm. Skin under fabric. I wondered if he recognized the longing in my gesture. The silent question, where do I stand? He tensed, but did not pull away. He closed his eyes briefly. Then he said, what if she still thinks? I shook my head. Does she? The words came out before I could stop them. Because I needed to know. Needed to know if she still inhabited his heart. If she was a presence in his mind that I couldn't erase. But he swallowed. His hand slid under the table, out of sight. He said, I don't know. And in the hush after that, I realized I was standing at the edge of something. Something that might swallow what we had, or remake it into something else entirely. He leaned in, lips almost touching mine. But I saw his hesitation. A breath caught. A promise unspoken. And then his phone buzzed again, so loud in that silence that it felt like the world was cracking. That was when I saw the lock screen, a message from her. It was late. The air smelled of warmth and something like regret. We sat side by side on the couch, the lamp beside us dim, the laptop shut. He glared at his phone, then at me, caught between worlds. I could taste the tension, sour and sweet. I asked him, desperate, what does she want? The words were fragile, like glass threatening to cut me. He looked away. His jaw clenched. I saw the lines of worry around his eyes, the way his voice had stayed soft. He said it was nothing serious. Just messages, compliments, reminiscences. Nothing physical. But I didn't believe it. Because what hurts isn't always what's done. Often it's what's wished, what's imagined. I saw in his face that he had let her remain in his mind. He had allowed the memory to shade him. Something twisted inside me. I felt angry. For me, for her, for both. But deeper than anger, an ache. A craving. I wanted him to close off that part of himself, to erase her smile from his memory, or at least to make room for me strongly enough that I no longer ghosted in corners of fear. Then, without meaning to, I raised my hand and pushed his shirt aside at the shoulder, a touch light as a whisper, where collarbone meets skin. His skin was warm. I wanted contact, to ground us, to claim, to feel. The brush of my fingers made him shiver. He swallowed, eyes dark, his breath catching. He moved his hand to mine, covered it, held it. It felt tender, ambiguous. It felt like forgiveness and tension bound together. Mine shook slightly, partly from shame, partly from the heat rising in me. Because desire stirred again, unbidden, powerful. We looked at each other. The electric pause when two people are standing on a precipice. Part of me wanted to leap. Part of me wanted to run. Then I heard it, a soft knock on the door. My heart froze. In that moment I wondered, was it her? Had she come? Or was it someone else who would force the truth out? He didn't move. I didn't speak. Sound came from the other side of the door, feet shuffling, then retreating. We both exhaled. But something between us felt unsteady, as though that knock had opened something inside both of us. He leaned back. I felt the contact between us loosen. I wanted to pull him close, to stop the tremor in my chest. Instead, I sat rigid, waiting for him to say something. To tell me what we were to each other now, once secrets had been seen. But he didn't. Days passed. I tried to behave normally, to pretend the photograph was just a flicker in my mind. But every time my phone buzzed, I expected her name. Every time he grew quiet, I thought he was thinking of her. Guilt, love, longing, everything tangled in my bones. I saw him at work events, dinners, laughing with me, touching me, as if nothing had shifted. The duality unnerved me. On one hand, his warmth was present, his smile when I entered the room, his hand at the small of my back, the way he said my name. On the other, his eyes would drift, just for a breath, into memory, into something unseen. Late that night, I found myself in his apartment again. He had the laptop open, this time no photos on screen, but tabs of messages. Hers, mine, casual, emotional. I stared. I should have looked away. I should have respected boundaries. But curiosity pushed me forward. He saw me watching. He didn't close it this time. Instead, he moved so that the light fell on me. Then he shut the laptop with a gentle firmness. His gaze was accusing, tender, shameful all at once. I flinched as though touched. "What are you doing?" he asked. His voice was low, hoarse. "I'm trying to understand," I answered. He nodded, but didn't speak. Then he stood, walked toward me slowly. I held my breath, heart hammering. The air between us pulsed, charged. He reached out to touch my hair. His fingers lingered at my neck, brushing the skin there. My pulse erupted under his hand. I felt every nerve open, wanting. He leaned in so close I could hear his breath, warm, troubled. His words came in a whisper, "You deserve honesty." My knees threatened to buckle. I wanted him to say more, but also I was afraid. Honesty can hurt. Honesty can burn. And then he paused, closing his eyes. When he opened them again, they glinted with something wild, a mix of apology and longing. "Would you ever forgive me if I told you everything?" I said nothing. My heart threatened to escape, because I knew the next words would change us. He began to tell me. About her. About that trip. About how they laughed under a foreign sky. About how sometimes memories linger even when people leave. He spoke of longing, not act. Of holding on to what once was impossible to share. He said he never meant for me to feel less, for her to still occupy a corner of his heart. As he spoke, I felt my own fantasies, a secret I'd never shared, rise in me. The fantasy of being the one who replaced the memory, of being the one whose image stayed in his mind long after I left. I longed for him to carve me into his thoughts, to make me the one he saw when he closed his eyes, not her. He moved closer. I could feel the press of his chest against mine, our breaths mingling. My cheek brushed his shoulder. I could hear the steady thrum of his heart. I wondered, is this betrayal more heartbreaking than a kiss with someone else? Because desire, once ignited, cannot be unfelt. I placed my hand on his chest, over his heart. It pounded hard. I wanted to press closer, to feel the heat there, to anchor myself. He responded by wrapping his arm around me, softly, cautiously. I felt the safety in that, yet a tension too, the knowledge that this closeness could pierce the fragile armor he wore. Then came the boundary crossed. He leaned in as though to kiss me, and I closed the gap. Our lips met, but not completely, a pause, a breath, a hesitation, a pullback. Our bodies were poised at that moment, on the verge. Something sacred, something doomed. I felt shame and exhilaration crash together. Because I had always known desire could betray, but I had never believed I would let it. His lips hovered near mine, breath soft and urgent. I tasted longing. I smelled regret and possibility. I thought, this is the moment I either lose what we had or redefine it into something new. And then the doorbell rang. My heart dropped. Someone at the door, late at night. A visitor, unwelcome perhaps. A knock that pulled us apart. He stepped back. I turned to look. The world felt fragile around us. "Who is that?" I asked, voice trembling. He swallowed. Couldn't answer immediately. The knock repeated, insistent. He moved to the window, but didn't open it. I followed, my thoughts racing. Could it be her? Did she know? Did she come to reclaim a piece of what she once had? Or to remind us of what I feared she still held? He peeked through the peephole. Then he sighed, turned away. It was a delivery person, wrong address. Relief washed over him. But I saw in his posture the strain. The moment reminded him that the world still sees us through frames of doubt and truth and rumor. And reminded me that desire and secrets don't exist in vacuum. They are exposed by small intrusions. Back inside, he closed the door, locked it. The lamp light was now softer, shadows longer. We stood apart. I looked at him, tried to read whether guilt or longing had claimed more of his face. My own throat burned. My skin felt alive. The room felt too small for all the tension between us. He approached me again, very slowly. My breath hitched in anticipation. He stopped inches from me. His eyes held mine. For a long, suspended moment, it was just us in a space where everything else fell away. Fears, secrets, past loves, and this pulsing desire that had grown from the seeds of jealousy and longing. Then he raised his hand, cupped my cheek. His thumb brushed my skin, as if mapping the geography of me. I closed my eyes under his touch, savored the sensation, heat, softness, vulnerability. My heart pounded so loud I thought I would collapse into him. He leaned in, and I felt his breath against my lips. Desire coiled inside me, trembling, urgent. My body responded though my mind begged me to stop, because crossing that line would change everything. His lips brushed mine, not fully, just a teasing, whisper of contact. I felt it though, a spark, an invitation. And then, his phone buzzed again, in his pocket. The light from the screen cast shadows. He pulled away slightly. My body ached for more, but his attention shifted. He looked at the phone, hesitated. I caught a flash of something in his face, conflict, fear, and I knew. This moment, this brush of lips, might be the closest we ever come to deciding what we are. I stood still, heart hammering. In that suspended beat between the buzz of his phone and his pulled-away lips, I knew I had to choose, to push forward, demand clarity, or to step back, guard my heart. He looked at me, raw vulnerability in his eyes. The phone hovered in his hand. For a moment, nothing else existed but us. Then he set the phone down, face down, silent. He smiled a sad, hopeful smile. "I want you," he said. "Not the memory. Not her. You." Tears pricked my eyes. I didn't trust the words at first. I leaned forward, letting my forehead rest against his chest. I closed my eyes. I could feel his heartbeat, loud in the hush. I let my fears slip, if just a little, that I was second, that I was half of something undone. He wrapped me in his arms. Warmth. The press of his chest against mine. His lips found my temple, then my cheek, tender. Every inch of distance between us seemed to melt. My body uncoiled, let go. Every lingering doubt fell away in the pressure, the softness, the way he held me as though I were both fragile and fierce. In the quiet aftermath, after the tremor-filled promises, I told him my secret fantasy. That one day his past would feel less like a shadow and more like a story he had outgrown. One he no longer carried, but simply remembered with kindness. He listened, and when I finished, he kissed my hair and whispered that he would try, that he would help me feel safe in his presence. We talked long into the night, about jealousy, forgiveness, trust. I told him what hurt me. He told me what he regretted. We drew boundaries, transparency, truth, no more hidden messages. He promised, no more ghosts in our room. As dawn crept through the curtains, soft golden light, I lay with him and felt a deep satisfaction, not just from desire, but from truth. I realized desire had nearly broken us, but honesty, vulnerability, and choice could remake us into something stronger. I believed in that moment that love might not erase the past, but it could build on it. Outro/reflection. I still carry the memory of her smile, that blurred photo, as a reminder. What almost was, what could have torn us apart. But I also carry now the certainty of my own worth, and of what I deserve. If you're listening or reading this, you, who have ever seen someone else's secret accidentally revealed, know that seeing something doesn't always define what is. What defines it is what comes after. The courage to demand truth, the willingness to reveal your own heart, the choice to stay or to walk. If you've ever been in my shoes, I'd love to hear what you would do. Have you ever confronted a secret you saw by accident? Did it change everything, or bring something real? Drop a comment, share your thoughts. If you want more stories like this, stories of longing, of moral gray, of truth and seduction, subscribe, because I'm not done yet. Thank you for staying with me.